it up. We are talking it up. We are talking it up.
Hello and welcome to the Talking It Up show. Real talk by real people on real issue. We have a great broadcast for you today. We have Christopher Tye. He is the author, and I'm already saying that it's going to be a best-selling book, For the Love of Her. And he talks about his experience at the hand of his mother. Unfortunately, it's child abuse. And then later on in the broadcast, we're going to interview Maria Fickling, Michelle's kids. She works with children that have been affected one way or the other by HIV and AIDS, whether it's through the loss of a parent or the children had it. So don't go anywhere. When you come back, I'll be right here.
Talking it up. We are 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 talking it.
Thanks, CSRA.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We're proud of the Augusta Regional Airport, and we thank you for checking flyages.com every time.
Worldwide jet service.
Easy in, easy out.
Lower fares.
Better reliability.
Fast, friendly, secure.
When you fly out of Augusta, you're supporting our community.
Buy local, fly global.
Augusta Regional Airport. Fly there, fly home.
Is your holiday list bigger than your paycheck? Delta Finance can help. We have fast holiday cash. Call Delta at 706-724-9985 to apply by phone. Delta Finance can loan you the cash you need to make this a happy holiday season. Again, if you need money for the holidays, don't fear. Relief is here. Delta Finance. Call us today, 706-724-9985. All loans are subject to our liberal credit policy and limitations. Call Delta today. We are back, and I want to thank my next guest, Christopher Tye.
Thank you.
For being with us, and you've authored the book, For the Love of Her.
That's correct.
And when I saw the title, I really thought it was something different. I really did.
Did you really?
I did, but we're talking about child abuse.
We are.
And it's unfortunate that you had that experience, okay. But you're extremely well-rounded.
Oh, thank you.
And you are a survivor. And it gave birth to this book.
It did.
So tell us about the book, and then we're going to talk a little bit about child abuse because it happens all too often.
Absolutely. I've always wanted to write For the Love of Her.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say the book. I just didn't have a name. And
really? Okay.
Exactly. The way it started, it was in the middle of the night, and I literally felt, the hand of God just tap me on the shoulder. And I woke up and I looked over to my wife and I asked her, I said, "Did you wake me up?"
Was that you?
And of course, she was kind of disgruntled at the time, but in a kind of way.
Yeah, because you woke me up, really?
Absolutely, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I heard this voice saying, "For the Love of Her." And I have been battling with writing this book. This is my second book, For the Love of Her.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. And I have been battling, and For the Love of Her just continued to resonate throughout my mind.
Yeah.
For the love of her, for the love of her. And I just felt like it was time to go ahead and pen this book.
Yes.
Not only for myself, but for the liberation of so many other kids out there that have gone through this same situation, as well as for those guardians who may themselves be the abuser.
Oh my God. So was that part of the struggle?
Absolutely. That was part of the struggle as well.
Do you mind sharing with our audience today a little bit about what that experience is, and if it's too much to go back and grab it, then I understand that.
Well, it's okay. I think anyone that have suffered the hands of abuse can surely understand that when you go back into the past and try and bring it to the forefront of your mind.
Yeah, you relive it.
Absolutely, and it can be damaging. But for me, growing up as a child, my mother was very abusive. Was heavily abusive. And it was a struggle for me to try and find love, what love truly meant for me. Not only for me, but for my siblings as well. I felt like, personally speaking, that I suffered the most. That may not be the case in their minds, but that's what I felt like.
Are you the oldest?
I'm not the oldest. I'm the third child of 4.
Wow.
And so it was a continual abuse. Yelling at, cursing out, calling names that you wouldn't call anyone.
Oh my God.
And of course, the many whippings and the choking, the beating.
Really?
And things of that nature.
I didn't know it was that severe.
It was very severe. I'm myself am surprised that I have made it to this point. I have 3 other siblings that I could see the struggle that they still have over their lives. And it wasn't easy for me, you know. Just growing up with dealing with the mental aspect of where I come from was a constant struggle. A struggle of feeling inadequate, insignificant.
Just not good enough, because if you can't get the love from the hands of your parents,
absolutely,
where do you go?
Where do you go? And I found myself, by the time I turned 17, my father, who had left the home when I was 12 years old, I was able to track him down.
Wow.
And together I got the both of them to sign me up for the military, and I went into the military at the age of 18, as soon as I turned 18.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, because I was married during the same year, that I had a lot of demons that I was battling and trying to release from my mind.
So was your signing up for the military a way to escape?
It was a way to escape the abuse.
Yeah.
However, I took it with me.
Oh my God.
I took it with me. And it wasn't until I went through, and I'm not afraid to say this, but many classes of psychiatry that I found some form of liberation.
But I'm glad that you're saying that, Christopher, because I think that that's the message that needs to be conveyed, that if you have that kind of emotional, psychological trauma, physical, yours was emotional, psychological, physical, every form of abuse that someone could experience, and on top of your being a child. And we look to our parents for that protection and that provision.
Absolutely.
And that wasn't your case.
Absolutely.
And there's such a peace in your spirit that I'm hearing.
Well, thank you.
Would you attribute it to your being able to write the book for the love of her, going for assistance with a psychologist, and a support system? Because it sounds like your wife is really a strong support system for you too.
My wife, she was very, she was my foundation, and she was the one that kind of led me to the psychiatrist office.
Yeah.
I would like to say there's so many different window panes I was able to look through now that I'm older, and I could see what saved me is the question, and I would have to say God.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you how many times that I thought about just ending my life, to be honest about it.
Because it made you feel like, what's the purpose of my living?
Exactly.
Because the person that gave me life doesn't value my life.
Don't value my life.
Wow.
And when you're raised by someone you feel like, you feel that should love you, it's not just demonstrating that love, then where do you go?
Yeah.
So, and even the place, in the book I talk about Tate Sally, which is the place I grew up around, and this was a very toxic environment.
Now, where is that again?
Tate Sally.
Now, where is that?
It's located in Columbia County.
Really?
Off of Evans to Locks Road.
Oh my God.
Exactly. And this environment kind of contributed to, I would think, a lot of things that even my mother battled with, the anxiety, the distress, the abuse herself, the psychological abuse, the physical abuse. And so I felt like that was superimposed upon us in a very heavy way. And of course, we were the ones that walked away with many scars.
Wow. Well, pen to paper on the book. And I'm saying that this is going to be, if it's not already, a bestseller.
Well, thank you.
Christopher Tye, thank you so much. We're going to put the information up where you can get the book. Please get it. And as always, if you are watching and you have seen abuse, please don't sit silent, because the children can't speak for themselves. Absolutely. They can't get the help that they need, but they're relying on those of us that see it. Let's go to a break, and we'll be right back after the break.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You did good. You did real good.
Thank you so much.
I got you.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
At Nuclear Care Partners, we provide individualized care designed to improve our patients' quality of life and maintain their independence. If you are a former Department of Energy worker, you may qualify for home health services specifically designed to help you live well at home, all at no cost to you. We are committed. We are compassionate. We are Nuclear Care Partners. Call us today to find out more at 1-888-525-5111.
Talking it up. Talking it up.
We are back, and it's time for the power of wellness. And what's so funny, before we were cued, you know, we're very mindful of our posture, especially when Dr. Dan is here. Dr. Dan, it's always a pleasure to talk to you about chiropractic care and how it can really benefit our holistically. And I think a lot of people know that.
Yeah, well, great to be here again. Yeah, holistic approach basically means a full body approach and approach, you know, everything, not just, you know, having, I don't know, a symptom like a fever or something and addressing that with a magic pill. It's really good to stay on top of things so you can actually be as healthy as you can. Yeah. So a lot of that is really preventative in nature and maintenance type thing in nature. So, you know, it just makes sense. I mean, if you live a certain way, you just don't need all this, you know, medicine, and you won't really get sick as much.
And that's what you're saying, if you live a certain way. And that's really what the Power of Wellness is about. It is a program that's very, very affordable, Aiken Chiropractic. It's less than $50, but if you want to know more, we'll have the information, Dr. Dan's address and phone number and website. But you know what I want to talk about today? The dreaded carpal tunnel.
Carpal tunnel.
Dreaded carpal tunnel. I've been diagnosed with bilateral carpal tunnel, and the compressions were at the elbow. And Dr. Dan, it was so bad that I couldn't hold a face towel or a sponge to bathe. Oh, wow. It was just that painful. Oh, yeah. And they wanted to operate. I was like, oh, no, we're not going to do that. I know that there has to be an alternative, and chiropractic care is the alternative.
Well, carpal tunnel affects a lot of people because we use computers in a daily life, you know, be it a laptop, a computer, or a phone that acts like a computer now, or, you know, tablet. And so anytime when you're doing some repetitive motion like that with your fingers and hands, and, you know, things can actually, you know, get out of place. So what's going on in the wrist area, if I can use yours, right in this area, there's no approximate, but there's 8 bones. They're all different shape and size. So those bones are called carpal bones. The problem is they form a little tunnel, right here through the middle, and there's some structures that go through the tunnel. And one of them is the median nerve, also some artery. And so when you have a compression on that tunnel, because these bones are misaligned, you know, due to the movement that we do, repetitive movement or stress, what happens is these bones are going to compress, and they're going to, you know, make the tunnel kind of crunching on itself.
And cause the pain.
Yeah, so there's a tension on the nerve, there's a tension on the artery. So what happens is people that have that, they're going to feel pain, they can also feel numbness or tingliness, and that also comes from a little bit lack of blood flow that comes out of here that goes around like this and gives blood to all these, you know, fingers. So, you know, we test that and we figure this out. There are also other nerves. There's actually 3 nerves that can be compressed in this area. The main one is the median nerve in the carpal tunnel, but there's 2 more. There's a radial nerve that comes up, you know, to the side where the thumb is. There's the ulnar nerve that comes out this way.
Ulnar nerve neuropathies.
Ulnar neuropathy, yeah.
Exactly.
And that's more common here at the elbow as well. Most people think of carpal tunnel because that's pretty common in the media. However, there's a tunnel here as well called tunnel of Guillain. So that can also be compressed, and that causes the tension on the ulnar nerve, and that can cause numbness and tingliness of these 2 fingers.
Exactly.
You know, carpal tunnel affects, it can affect all of them, but it's mostly in the middle. And then the radial nerve, when it gets compressed, it can affect the thumb and part of this, you know, index finger.
It makes you feel like you're about to die. The pain is just that excruciating. And chiropractic adjustment can help without having to have surgery, without having to have meds.
Yes, here's how that works. First of all 3 of these nerves don't just start right here. They actually start from your neck. So they come out from the spine through these little holes in the neck, and then they travel all the way down the arm, all the way down to your fingers. There's only 3 in the end, those 3 major ones. So really, it's not enough just to do this. Yes, that's the #1 thing, but this also needs to be checked here, the shoulder and the neck, because the nerves can be irritated or compressed along the path on any of those. So we call that kinetic chain because, you know, your whole arm is involved in that movement and includes the neck as well. So really, to fix this, you also need to look at, you know, here, here, and here, and whatever it's, you know, wrong or bad or it's not functioning right, that needs to be affected.
Wow.
You know? Now, what happens here, we actually adjust that. We actually realign those bones, There are 8 bones and you can move them. I'm not really going to do a big one here, but kind of like this. That's all it kind of looks like. So it doesn't hurt, and it kind of makes a little clicking noise. You know, we kind of go this way, and we do a little bit more this way, And
also, he's not applying a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's not a lot of pressure at all. It doesn't hurt. There's also a hand instrument that we can use and some other ways as well. But we do adjust these bones in here. Okay, we do extremity adjustment, and that's part of that. Also, we can adjust this, what I call metacarpal joints. One is right here, and then, these over here. So, for the thumb, the way that's done, you just kind of pull and press in like this. If it's really bad, it will kind of pop in there.
Wow.
And that happens a lot too, Now, what happens over time, scar tissue grows in this area.
Exactly.
Okay. What the surgery does, they would do a little incision here and pull all the scar tissue out, and they will close it back up, and they will give a person relief for some time.
For a short period of time.
Yes. However, they did not address the main cause of that.
Exactly.
The bones are still causing tension, and after maybe a couple of years, there's going to be enough scar tissue being formed. They're going to need another surgery.
Exactly.
So I've seen people come to my office with repetitive surgeries, 2 or 3, and then they just say, well, I got to do something else, and we go ahead and adjust it. Now, what do we do to get rid of this scar tissue? We do ultrasound, okay,
really?
therapeutic ultrasound.
You can even rehab whatever scar tissue.
Depending on how bad it is. Sometimes it's just really, really bad. They may actually need to get it removed. But we also do ultrasound, and that gets rid of the scar tissue pretty good as well.
Dr. Dan, you are phenomenal.
Yes. There's also exercises too that needs to be done as well.
Well, what we're going to do, I'm going to come to your office, and I agree to have an adjustment.
Great.
While our viewing audience can see it, because I think sometimes when people don't know what to expect, it prevents them from doing it. So I have committed to doing that, and thank you for doing my adjustment. Woo! Dr. Dan. Dr. Dan, I love and appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Power Wellness, Aiken Chiropractic, 425 Lawrence Street, 803-641-9191. Did I get it?
Yes.
See, my adjustment worked, and it helped my brain too. We're going on a break. We'll be right back after this.
Thank you.
Talking it up. Talking it up.
Is your holiday list bigger than your paycheck? Delta Finance can help. We have fast holiday cash. Call Delta at 706-724-9985 to apply by phone. Delta Finance can loan you the cash you need to make this a happy holiday season. Again, if you need money for the holidays, don't fear. Relief is here. Delta Finance. Call us today, 706-724-9985. All loans are subject to our liberal credit policy and limitations. Call Delta today.
Thanks, CSRA.
Thanks. Thank you.
We're proud of the Augusta Regional Airport, and we thank you for checking flyages.com every time.
Worldwide jet service.
Easy in, easy out.
Lower fares. Better reliability.
Fast, friendly, secure.
When you fly out of Augusta, you're supporting our community.
Buy local, fly global. Augusta Regional Airport.
Fly there, fly home.
We are back, and we are live in studio with Maria Fickling, Michelle's kids, and I am so glad that you could be with us today. I hear that you're doing a great work.
I'm trying.
Well, you're doing it. You're doing it, and we need to let our viewing audience and everybody know what you do. And we had a little conversation before we aired as to the reason why. So welcome to the Talking It Up Show.
Thank you. Thank
you
for
thank
having
you
me.
for taking care of those babies.
Oh, I try. Try hard.
We're talking about kids that are diagnosed with AIDS, HIV, or have lost a family member that was their caregiver.
Yes.
Tell us about Michelle's Kids.
Michelle's Kids is a nonprofit organization that I started because I lost my sister Michelle to the disease. Thank you. I lost her back in 2002.
Right.
She was 33 years old.
Wow.
And when she passed away, she had 4 kids.
Wow.
The oldest was 11, and the youngest was 6.
Right.
So I had been in the medical field for a number of years, so I knew about HIV and AIDS, but until the reality hits you, in your face, yes, you don't think to do something.
Yeah.
So I started looking for help for the kids, financial, what I could do to help my parents, for my nieces and nephews.
Right.
What I could do to help my parents, because a lot of their savings had been depleted on her medicines.
Oh my God.
So going in, I didn't know nothing. I knew about HIV and AIDS, but I never thought about kids. I never, I knew there were kids that were infected, but I never thought about the after effect.
How it would impact
a family.
Yeah.
You know, so to go through that as the older sister, because I'm the oldest of all of us.
Okay.
It was me, Michelle, and then we have 3 brothers. So as the oldest, and you have to sit there and watch your sister suffer the way she had to.
Wow.
You know, it's time for you to take a stand. So I decided, started looking, couldn't find nothing in the United States. Didn't know really.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You couldn't find anything in the United States?
No, that was geared, a lot of things that were geared toward HIV and AIDS,
right,
but nothing
adults,
geared toward
but not
kids.
For children.
Yeah, or kids that were infected,
Gotcha.
but not affected.
Gotcha.
So everything was in India, Africa, Sudan. So I said, okay, I got to do something.
But you would think that the United States of America would be on the cutting edge to make sure that the family, the person that is affected, the children, the ones that are affected, and all the other components. So,
but you know, the thing of it is most people that are in this field or have an organization, the first thing that was said to me was, I never thought about the kids.
Oh my God.
Because there's so many aspects to this disease.
Right.
They never thought about the after effect of what will happen to a child who has lost a parent to HIV.
And you know what, I have to admit that, guilty, because I'm a wellness consultant, and the last wellness program I developed was for Dr. Mendy. He had an infectious disease clinic, and his patients were HIV and AIDS. And in developing the wellness program, you really have to think about all the support systems that should be in place. I didn't think about it, so I was guilty as well.
Yes, well, I never thought about it. Working with people who were infected.
Right.
Never thought about the family, never thought about the stigma.
Exactly.
Because that's the biggest thing that makes people stop and not think is the stigma. Because most people who are infected with HIV don't say anything.
Yeah.
And my sister didn't want to tell her kids.
Yeah.
You know, how do you tell an 11-year-old that there's a possibility mom might not be here when you get 16?
Yeah.
So in looking for stuff, I decided I was going to do something. And the Lord gave me Michelle's kids.
Michelle's kids. And Michelle's was your sister's name. So it's really in honor.
In honor.
To her.
Yes.
And then you were telling me that the oldest child, 11 years old, was the caregiver for her mom.
Yes, she was.
Before you intervened and before you became a resource for your sister, the children, but particularly the 11-year-old.
Yes.
You know, 11-year-old becoming a caregiver?
Yes, she had to because, you know, my sister was sick off and on a lot.
Yeah.
So my 11-year-old niece stepped in to take care of her brothers and sisters and to help her mom, not understanding the impact of it because no one said anything really. People knew, and in the small town that she was from, it was just a big stigma.
And no one gave the support because...
She had a few people that was supporting, but not a lot. So we ended up moving my sister from Mississippi to Alabama, and that's where she lived out her last days.
Wow.
And so after she died, and it was, you know, now it's time for me to do something.
Exactly, because there's a void.
Because there's a void.
And I believe that we are... God allows us to go through things because there is a void.
Yes.
And there becomes an urgency for us to get it done because we've been there, done that.
Yes.
And once you've been there, done that, that leaves compassion.
And it does. It does. And then it makes you open your eyes to a lot of things that you never thought about before. I never thought about the stigma of it till I had to deal with it with my sister. Never thought about the stigma of it until I would say to people, I want to do something. And they would tell me, you don't want to deal with those people.
Those people. That's even a worse stigma because that's really ignorance when it boils down to it because you just don't know enough.
Exactly. And
I'm paranoid of people that have colds.
Exactly.
Not HIV, not AIDS, and to be honest about it, not even Ebola. I did say that. But a cold because you have so many people now that are sneezing into their sleeves and everything else. So I'm more concerned about a common cold.
And that's what people with HIV are concerned with. And I tell people all the time, they need to be more concerned about it, than you need to be concerned about them.
Yeah, the time went too fast. I need to have you to come back.
I would love to.
I am just drawn in by one of the buttons that you have on I Am Hope. And that's really what you're giving to these children and their family. We want to be a part of your support system.
Thank you so much.
We want to get the word out. We want to support you any way that we can, and we have to get you to come back on.
I would love
Maria,
to.
thank you so much.
Thank you
God
for
bless
having
you,
me.
and keep up the good work.
Thank you, and God bless you too.
We're going to go to a quick break, and we're going to be right back in a moment. And while you're on the break, I may talk a little while longer to Maria. We'll be right back after the break.
Were you hurt on the job? Are you trying to keep your work comp payments? Do you feel like no one is listening? Your employer, the company doctor, the insurance company? Well, we're listening. Our workers' compensation team has helped hundreds of injured South Carolinians. Call us now and let us listen to you. For a free consultation, call 803-644-5335 or visit thechandlerlawfirm.com.
You can count on Chandler.
At Nuclear Care Partners, we provide individualized care designed to improve our patients' quality of life and maintain their independence. If you are a former Department of Energy worker, you may qualify for home health services specifically designed to help you live well at home, all at no cost to you. We are committed. We are compassionate. We are Nuclear Care Partners. Call us today to find out more at 1-888-525-5111.
Talking it up. Talking it up.
Hello, everybody. This is Jordan Sherman with your Life Coaching Moment. Today, we're talking about overcoming abuse. I can't be as excited as I would like to be about that. That's not an exciting subject. But what I want to do today is point you in the right direction. If you're one of those individuals who's been abused, if you're one of those individuals who's watching somebody be abused, I want to encourage you to definitely reach out to people. That's easier said than done, but they're pastors, they're individuals in your school, they're individuals that you can connect with and talk to. I hope that our guests today that you've had an opportunity to hear have inspired you to take action. I want you to know I learned something in school being bullied, that bullies will continue to bully until you stand up. Sometimes that standing up can't be physical, but there's a lot of courage that goes into play when you have to stand up and do the right thing. And so anybody who's watching it, anybody who's seeing it, anybody who's experiencing it, we want you to be courageous in this moment. Reach out to somebody. We're going to connect all of those lines for you, pointing you to some national hotlines today. Get the number, reach out to somebody, let us know here at the studio, even if you have to call in anonymously, and we'll do our part to let you know what's available to you in the local area. Have a good day.
I want to thank you for being with us today, and I want to thank my guest, Christopher Ty, and please get the book For the Love of Her, and Michelle's kids, Maria Fickling. We want you to support her in her efforts with helping those children that have been affected by HIV and AIDS, whether it's through the loss of a parent, a loved one, or the children. And I always enjoy being on with Dr. Dan, The Power of Wellness. Now, I know that he will straighten you out, so you need to get with Dr. Dan ASAP, and Jordan with our life coaching moment. Please join us back here next week, same time, same channel for the Talking It Up show. And thank you for being with us today.
Talking it up. Talking it up. Talking it up. Talking it up.